Crosby, Gensel on the right. He scores! Jake Gensel!
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt! NFL history! Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, right here in the Municipal Building, Police Station, Mayor's Office in Bethel Park. Thank you for watching our show. We appreciate all of you. Please check out our Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. We're trying to boost those subscriptions, so if you're on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook, we respect you and thank you, but you can migrate just a little bit for a minute to subscribe. Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. Thank all of you on Comcast 21. We heard Comcast 21 cut our feed off because they thought we were in the library. So that's why we were off air for a while, but we're Comcast 21 and we're Verizon, and that's only in Bethel Park, Comcast. They're special like that. And Verizon 32 all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. We even had somebody in Fayette County saying they watched the show. So we appreciate it. Special shout out to Sydney, Mike Mariano's friend. He loved last week's show, and that's not enough to get Mike on the show. Just wanted to share that. Al Levine, the Smoking Jim's looking. I had Mike and Marco on the show the one time. You were here, I think.
Yeah.
They think they can fill your seat when you're not here.
They sure can.
And I said, you can't. That's because he doesn't run the show. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. And by the way, happy birthday to your mother in heaven today.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And our prayers go out to her. And, you know, everybody grieves in their own way.
It's Mom's birthday.
Chip and I,
20th, September 20th.
Chip and I both lost mothers, so we know what you're going through. We don't know how you're thinking, and nobody can. So we'll just say our prayers.
Thank you, sir.
Chip Hayner's here. Nick Callis has been running around setting this studio up, and he admitted, rarely do you hear anybody admit they made a mistake. I don't know what it was.
That's where he made a mistake, because he really didn't.
Well, he does some secret stuff around here to make us all look better, and we appreciate it. So we're going to go right to our promos, and we got Mike's dad, Johnny Mariano, and we got his cousin, Marco.
That's my man.
We got the two young dudes here, and Marco's dad's here keeping an eye on all these people here. So we'll be back after the promos. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria in the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
Join the Bethel Park Police Department in support of Kicks for Kids. Its mission is to provide grade school students with a fresh pair of shoes to start off the school year on the right foot. Donations of new youth and adult-sized tennis shoes will be graciously accepted. You can also make a tax-deductible financial donation, 100% of which will go toward the purchase of tennis shoes for students. You can support by calling 412-835-7220, by texting K for K to 44321, or by mailing orders to Life Builders at 2624 Brandis Avenue in South Park. There's also a bin in the lobby of the Bethel Park Police Station for you to make a drop-off. Kicks for Kids. Let's build together and make a difference in the life of a student. And now this message from BPTV.
Alas, poor talking machine. I knew him well. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy?
Dave, I'm not dead. I'm still doing Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night and many other weekly shows on BPTV.
That's great, Al, but then who's this?
I don't know, but we must leave right now. Let's go. Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. All right, we got Michael Mariano watching, Heather D'Alessandro, Ralph Williams, hello guys, Glenn Hosterman watching. Here's a long name. Lynn Marie Austin Colbert is watching. Pete Kasich's watching. Somebody's mother and wife is watching. Diane Mariano Rohde. Thomas Hemphill is watching. Peggy Rohde, and she'll tell me that Nick's watching. So we'll know that. And hold it. Marco's in the control room. He's watching. You better watch that control board. We're losing control here. All right, we got What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
Here's a softball.
you got to see Levine. And I tell you what, man, this is for Mikey's family and Marco's family. If they want it, I got 6 free tickets to the Pittsburgh Zoo for them, their friends, and family. So that's for Mikey and Marco's
Hold
family.
it, one question.
I know where that came from.
Where'd it come from? I was going to ask him.
He's supposed to be giving those to children in need.
That is children in need.
Hold it.
If you're white, you're right.
Him and his partner, we can't mention his name, they say a lot of things like that. And people know who they are, but they keep supporting them. So we support you in whatever you're doing.
But I got something for my main man, Chipper. Because Chip always say you can't evaluate a draft until 4 years. Well, I decided to go back to the 2019 draft that I rated it a D. Let's see how I did. Steelers moved up in that draft to get Devin Bush. I told them then that dog won't hunt. He never seen a tackle he wanted to make. In the third
Kind
round.
of like prime time.
Yeah. They didn't have a
All
second
true.
round pick. In the third round, they got Justin Lane. He was a bust. They got Benny slow as a snail in the 4th round. He ran like he had a piano on his back. In the 5th
Hold it,
round.
he had the Kentucky record for rushing.
That's right. In the 5th round, they got Zach Gentry, a 6'8", 265-pound tight end from Michigan that moved like the son of Frankenstein. And the 6th round, they got Sutton Smith that didn't make it. They had 3 6th-round picks. Isaiah Buggs, a 300-pound bum from Alabama. Ulyss Gilbert III and Darwin Gray. But only one player is still on the team from that draft, and they got him in the 3rd round. And Ralph Williams calls him Dante Dropson. I call him Butterfingers Johnson. My bad, Johnson. Dr. Drop. Earth, Wind, and Drop Johnson. Hands of Stone. The godfather of the drops. How did I do, Chip, when I gave him a D? Do you agree or disagree?
Not at all. Because what's the average NFL career? 2.6 years. So going back 4 years, I wouldn't expect any of them to be in the NFL.
Hold it, who's cashing Deontay Drop's paychecks?
He gets 18.
He's a millionaire.
He gets $18 million every 2-point conversion.
Yeah, but you know what? You're scrounging for $250 to bet a day.
Yeah, that's true.
Guess what? He's sleeping on
Yeah,
it.
that's
$2
true.
million.
And
And you disrespect him. He's sleeping on a $2 million
and
pillow.
70% of all NFL players, which will include him, 5 years after they retire, is dead, broke, and divorced.
What are you bragging
Welcome
about?
to the club.
What are you bragging about?
Welcome.
So you're saying it's a good career move?
Yeah.
You're right. That's what's on my mind.
you're saying
I
it's a
got
good
tickets
career
for the
move.
family. I got tickets for the family.
Well, he has over 100 godchildren. He has 50-some cousins that I've met, and he don't know half their names. Johnny Mariano's watching, and he said something before. He wanted to know if this is a repeat. Well, Johnny, that isn't funny. Some people may shut off the show thinking it's a repeat because you're in the control room. We're losing control of the show. I'm going to have a list of rules that you can and cannot say, and none of you can pump up Smoking Jim Frazier that how great he is. I didn't do a disclaimer on him because his fan club is too close, but he's getting close. Peggy said, enjoying the show, watching from Rochester, and like I predicted, Mike, Nick and Peggy are watching. Thank you very much. Grandma Ann Harder, good show. You didn't notice Mike yet, so he has the camera on me, Ann. All right. Chip Hayner, he teased us with something he had to say about what's on your mind, Chip.
Oh, thank you. And at the start of the football season, I guess last week was the first week of the high school season.
Yes.
And our Gateway Gators proudly started out the season 0-2. I just thought I would bring that to somebody's attention.
No, I heard a great joke before the show. Chip came up with it. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Smoking Jim goes, who's there? Chip goes, Owen. Smoking Jim goes, what? 0-2, Gateway. A Pittsburgh sports line knock joke by the talking machine via Chip Hayner. Thank you, Chip.
But, you know, what's on my mind is that we had the first weekend of college football, and there was a lot of hoopla going into it.
Yeah.
Some surprises and some relatively boring football games.
Oh, a ton of them.
You know, but you know, the one thing I learned by watching the Colorado Buffaloes this weekend is that you know, Primetime's defense likes to tackle about as much as he does. But
let me explain. No disclaimer on Chip because it's unusual. Smoking Jim usually doesn't give the truth.
But
Chip gave the truth.
But
no
okay,
disclaimer.
so that being said, so now we are in
Thank you.
the era of where now we've got the transfer portal. So people that agree to a scholarship from a school, which is usually a 4, 5, 6, 8, 10-year commitment, depending on the academic level of the student.
But not the coaches.
But okay, so now the players can enter the transfer portal and they can move around to whatever team they want.
NIL.
And then there's also NIL, because now everybody says that these kids aren't in school to get an education, that they're actually professional athletes while they're in college and they're making money for the university. So now we have the name, image, and likeness. So now the players are getting paid to play football and not go to class because they're not there to get an education. So here's the problem I have with the way the system is now.
Yeah.
If that is the case, then I say pay the players, okay? No player on any team should have a scholarship, okay?
Good point.
They are now making 6, some guys making 7 figures.
Good point.
Why can't they pay for their education? That just like any other student. And the scholarships that we're not giving to players that are getting paid to play can now go to people that actually need
Students
scholarships
that want to get
that may
educated.
make a bigger difference
like
in
that.
society
I like that.
than the football players go. I think it's ridiculous that they should get to be able to get paid, be able to switch from team to team to team at their will, and have no accountability. And the universities are going to hold scholarships for these guys and transfer them from school to school. I don't understand this. I mean, I know brighter minds than mine figured this out. I think there's something wrong with the way the system is now, and I think it should be fixed because, okay, if you're going to pay the players, pay the players. But they should have to pay for everything: their meals, their room, their board, their books, their education.
Yeah.
What would be the problem with that?
Good point.
I couldn't agree.
That's what's on my mind.
I couldn't agree with you more because I believe there should be some compensation to players, but they never worked it out. And they didn't care to work it out. And that created this monster, which is going to ruin college sports. Because what you made them, it's like the minor leagues in baseball, but they make millions.
What's ruining college football? And yes,
Well, there's a few things.
Process is in. It is going on right now.
Oh,
is the fact is greed.
It's going to ruin all of college sports.
No, it's
It
greed
started
because
to. No, this
one
is
of
the
the
beginning
things
of
that I always loved about college football, that I loved more than the pros, was the rivalry games.
Yeah.
Okay, these teams played each other every year. Pitt, there was Pitt, Penn State every year. Thanksgiving, they played. Pitt, West Virginia,
Backyard brawl.
so forth and so on. But there's rivalry games. So now that we've got all these, we have 4 super conferences, and we have teams like Stanford that are going to be joining the ACC. Now, last I heard,
USC, too.
Stanford is on the Pacific coast, not the Atlantic coast. So why are they in the ACC? That doesn't make any sense. Of course, it's money. You know, the Big Ten now has 28 teams. Well, what is it? Is it the Big Ten or is it the Big 28? You know, and they've got teams from coast to coast. Now, do you think about this? All the lowercase sports. Now, you want to play a volleyball match, and you're in Schenectady in New York, and you've got to go to San Diego, California to play a tournament. Now, how are these students getting their education, making it to their classes when they got to spend a day and a half getting from one end of the country
Hold it.
to
What
the
about
other?
their education with tests? Like Smoking Jim, he didn't go to school, and
I
you know
didn't.
he ended up paying afterwards because he didn't know school loans you have to pay back. But no, how do they go to school? My thing is they should have talked intelligently about how do you pay them something, and then how about putting a grade average that they got to average 3.0
I don't
each
like
year.
that. I don't like that.
But
I
see-
mean, just do that
Well,
for
with the
athletes.
name, image, and likeness, you know,
So they
I
have
mean,
to study.
obviously the 5th string offensive lineman isn't going to be getting the kind of money that the star quarterback's going to be getting.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, and that's fine if that's the way they want to. But if these players are getting paid, they should be just like the students, like our young friend Nick here, who took out loans
He's
to
paying
pay
on
for
it.
his college.
No, there's a whole. Hold
No,
on.
but which you have
Hold
to
on.
pay off.
They give 18-year-olds who don't have a credit score $100,000 to go to school. That's a problem in itself. Don't
Well,
don't use that as an
no,
example.
But what I'm saying is, you've got a loan that you're in the process of paying off. Why should somebody just because they can throw a football get everything and have no accountability, no responsibility for anything? What are we teaching these kids?
We need to have a whole show on that because there's been corruption in sports. Imagine all these gambling concerns. You know you're not supposed to gamble. Pete Rose will never get in because he broke the baseball rule. But look at how all the sponsors are multi-billion-dollar sponsors and they promote gambling. Look how many players got fined and whatever else because of gambling. So how do you think you get there? Like guys are giving them shoes, guys are giving them cars, guys are getting coaches girls.
And they're giving
You don't
up-
think that's going on?
Right. And they're-
This has
and-
been
and-
going all along.
Yeah.
It's a family show, so
And they're giving them the injury list, you know, so that the bookmakers know how to set the odds.
well, exactly. And my thing is, it was built into the system, and when the players were getting screwed, they didn't mind as much. But you got the multi-billion-dollar gambling concerns. All of a sudden, it matters. So what did they do? They make college ball like pro ball. And when you have a great two-way player, I'll talk about Colorado in a minute. He turned down more money to be with Neon Dion. He only gets $1.2 million. He turned down more money.
How's he going to be able to afford lunches? No child should have to carry that kind of burden.
No, here we'll move on. Paul Haley's watching. Great comment, Chip. I agree. Chief is saying don't understand all the conferences RE alignment. What is it, the Pac-10 with 2 teams in it or something?
It's going to be the Pac-2 pretty soon.
Yeah, they got 2 teams.
Yeah, and they're going to get an automatic bowl bid, and they're going to get an automatic place in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, and Thomas Hemphill has a comment, which with the college players being paid, I'm losing my interest in the college game. You're not far off. I watched a couple games. One of them was Colorado because Neon Dion, I haven't liked his style at all, and I wanted to see him fail. So I'll get into that in a minute.
Well, did you know that his Hall of Fame, they put one of his jerseys in the Hall of Fame? It's the only one with no grass stains on it.
Yeah. 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 And, well, how about, Chip, you being a baseball guy, how about he played a football game? The Braves were in the World Series. He wanted to play in the game, and his coach, I forget who it was then.
Torres.
No, you're not even close. The Braves.
Oh, I'm thinking Yankees.
Atlanta Braves. He told him, sit down, never called him into play. And he was upset and yelling about it after the game. So I lost all respect for him back then, not now. You can suck up to him all you want. You do that, but I understand. All right, what's on your mind? Nick Callis.
Baseball. I'm concerned about the Pirates, but not for the reason you might think. There's a lot of reasons to be concerned about the Pirates. There's some reasons to be optimistic. But we've talked about this before. O'Neal Cruz is hurt this year. Likely not going to play again for the rest of the season. We lost a whole year of his career and what that means for him and what that means for the Pirates. For the Pirates, it means that they didn't get to see, and we as fans didn't get to see him perform as the shortstop. Meanwhile, it seemed to develop that Liover Peguero is actually a great option as a shortstop. Nick Gonzalez, former first-round pick, now in and out of the majors, getting reps. What do we do about him? And when O'Neal Cruz comes back, what's going to happen? And now I'm just pondering, what are the Pirates going to do, and can the Pirates botch this situation? I brought this up the other day on The Fan, got callers in talking about wanting him to move to the outfield, wanting him to move to first base would be a great fit. I agree with all that, but there's another block in that happening, which is that he doesn't want to play any other positions, which is really just creating a whole lot of obstacles for the Pirates at this point. Okay, I'm just going to ask the question. Do the Pirates consider trading O'Neal Cruz if he doesn't want to play another position to get back assets and really put their faith in Liover Peguero and Nick Gonzalez as the middle infielders of the Pirates? That's been on my mind all week. I'm really thinking about it because we really don't know what Cruz is at this point. He has a lot of potential, and he's shown a lot of potential, but I'm not sure that he'd be the best option if he's not willing to be team player. Al wants to say something.
Here's the key question. When somebody has an injury like that, he's a fast player. Mm-hmm. Will he still be fast?
Good point.
Well, it's an
Now
ankle.
that-
Usually bones heal up pretty well. It's the muscles you worry
Well,
about.
the tendons and joints and all that, you'd rather have a break.
Yeah.
But you do have issues with tendons and joints, too, when you do have something
Right,
like
but he
that
had-
with rehab.
But he had a break.
Will he have the same speed? I've seen guys get fractures and not come back with speed, personally, in school.
Yeah.
I had a kid that, great runner, stole bases. Somebody stepped on his leg in Greentree, Little League, and fractured his leg. He never ran the same or played ball again.
Well, grown man versus 12-year-olds.
Well, I'm just telling you. Yeah, I don't know if you know how it was, but my thing is we don't know because we don't know what he'll be doing next year, what kind of shape he's going to be in.
Right, I don't know either, and that's why I'm.
See, and to answer my answer to your question, and I think it would be a really, really bad idea at this point in his career to get rid of O'Neal Cruz because the facts of the matter remain that O'Neal Cruz probably will not finish his career in a Pirate uniform. Okay, just as
Yeah, like
everybody.
Many before him.
Like every single guy on the team right now, at some point will get traded. That's the way Major League Baseball is. I mean, every team does it. So here's what the thing is: if you're ultimately going to get rid of Cruz, I'd say do it further down the line when you realize what his value is, because right now he's
have the
unrealized potential.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's that too.
so who would
Very
want to
good
give
point.
you a king's ransom
No,
for
that's a good
somebody
point.
that
Very
hasn't
good
proven
point.
themselves? Because the only people that have anointed him the next great thing are people that talk radio, sports writers.
Oh, you mean our local
and,
media?
and social media and people's opinions. It's
Yeah.
our opinion that he's going to be a great baseball player. But what I have to do is I have to see him be a great baseball
Well, that's why I brought up, will we have the same speed? And attitudes can be changed. You're a young man. What you knew 3 years ago, has that changed since you're now 24, going to be almost 25?
Yeah.
Okay. His opinions can change due to financial, health, and whatever reasons. So if he gets to the same level, let him fight for the job.
That's right.
Because guess what? I said last week, I don't care what people's attitudes are. You got to perform on the field because you're a player.
Well, it's just kind of
All this other stuff
I'm
doesn't
just
mean anything.
frustrated too because Henry Davis was willing to go out of his comfort zone and play another position, and now that Cruz is like, no, I'm playing shortstop, and that's what I'm here to do. I don't love that mentality from a player, and that's why I'm like, I feel like a team.
Oh, I respect that.
and
then, yeah.
I'm talking about Cruz because, as highly talented as he is, I feel like a team, especially the way Major League Baseball is, I feel like a team would be willing to overpay for him in a trade based on his potential right now. Because if you see him,
No,
you lose
I
that
appreciate
potential.
your comments
Team,
on that.
teams
yeah.
now in baseball pay for potential and overpay for potential more than they would after you have unproven talent. Hello.
Mr. Negative.
Here's a good example. Dan Moore said he'll never play right tackle, only left tackle. Now he's the best left tackle in football. So there you
We have a
it.
disclaimer on that. Smoking Jim preseason doesn't mean much until the season starts. And you were right about TJ Watt after one game.
And the entire offensive line is a problem. The only reason I'm proposing this with Cruz is because now there's a jam amongst middle infielders on the team.
Good point.
The Steelers have not had offensive line depth lately.
But you know what, though? Nick, and look at it like this. With all of the talent that we've got in the middle infield right now, and Peguero, I would see Peguero being more of the everyday second baseman next year.
like him.
With O'Neill
don't know
Cruz
that.
at short and Cabrian. We need to do something with it. But with all that talent that we got in the middle infield, and I'm going to use a Tomlinism on this one.
Uh-oh.
Steel sharpens steel,
Well,
And
what
by-
about the standard is the standard?
But I mean, seriously, with that kind of talent there, then you cannot afford to sit back on your heels and say, well, look, I got all the potential in the world. You have to deliver on it now. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to take your spot.
Good point.
Hence, will he be as fast as he was before?
Plus, anybody can play first base.
All right, Bob
Well,
Beers.
Pedro Alvarez.
Shout out to Bob Beers, my longtime friend from the Post-Gazette and Press. Had many a great time down there. He's watching the show. Thanks for watching. Susan Rupert Grope is watching. Thomas Henfield has another comment. Try Cruz in right field and Davis at first. Well, if you listen to Nick, Cruz doesn't want to go anywhere but short.
Big problem, yeah.
So that's a problem. Paul Haley, if Cruz is 100%, keep him. If not, trade him. Ankle injuries are not as easy to come back, especially from someone Cruz's size. I like what you're saying, Paul, and I've witnessed those things. So we will go on. Maureen Callis is watching. Thanks, Mama. Paul Haley, money can change anyone's attitude.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
We all second.
Put enough zeros at the end of it.
We all.
Give him an extension then.
Forever. All right. What's on my mind, right?
There you go.
Whoa. I watched the whole game, and it's rare with college football. Never been a fan of Neon Dion, prime time. Never liked that style. I
Tackling
understand
machine.
it. Well, I played football. I got hit. I tackled people. I had to block people as a center. My uniform had plenty of stains on it. Rarely were there stains on the back. So, I was trying to play. And I never saw him make a tackle when I watched their games. I didn't watch him a lot of times, but I noticed his style. He would run as fast as he could, try to get behind him, and then come diving up to intercept the ball. Now, that might work in baseball, because if you go back a little and then you come running up to get a ball and you can throw, Nick, you can make plays running up.
Momentum.
Yeah. So he did well in baseball, and they say he did well in Hall of Fame and all that stuff. So I heard all this talk, and I've been against the portal and how it works and the NIL and the millions of dollars, because I wondered what happened to Pitt. We got all these rich people at Pitt that are alumni. Why aren't we getting many better players for millions of dollars? Then I heard that Travis Martin, I salute him. He played both sides of the ball, and he did well on defense, unlike his coach. He was hitting guys, trying to get the ball, and he played offense too. So I was impressed by that, and I wanted to see if they could even score with having 86 new players. And guess what? They scored. They scored more than the other team. His son threw for 510 yards. Shador. Smoking Jim, where'd he get that name? Never mind. Never mind. We aren't going to go there. And he was completing passes. First half, I think he only had 3 incomplete passes. So I'm watching the game, and I'm going to Drew, I got to watch more. They're winning. They're coming back on them and everything else. And who would have thought TCU was in the national championship game? But then nobody said this. They weren't the same team this year. Because you know what they had, whether it's the portal or graduation or kids don't come out, they had a different team. Did you even hear that once in the whole broadcast?
I didn't.
Not at all. And I listened to the whole thing.
Do you know how
Go
many
ahead.
starters they had that made it to the NFL?
No.
8.
Who? TCU?
TCU.
And
So
that-
it's nowhere.
that's- you're
it's not the-
reinforcing my
It's not the
point.
same team that went to the.
Thank you for your assistance on that.
It was a close game, too.
Well, here,
So, whoops.
now, Primetime's an offensive guy, with his team, but he played defense, and to show you how he didn't tackle, and he hired all these coaches that do this for him. If you noticed, I've seen Tomlin with the mic up on offense, and then I've seen it down on defense. Guess what Primetime did? You can check the film up the whole game. You know why? He got 8 coaches. Some have been in the NFL and everything. They coached the team up, but they forgot about defense. So whoever had the ball last was going to win this game. And that's what came out of it. You get 510 yards on your own and you give up 500. Chip and I talked, how do you sustain that through a season? Now, if they play Nebraska and they're any good, maybe they get 400 yards and they beat them by 1 point. So all you on the bandwagon, better get off of that and get a new one. We will see. And I'll watch his next game because they'll have it on prime time.
Yes, sir.
No doubt about it. All right, we're going to go with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, when Barry Switzer was at Oklahoma, he had his team in the
You're
locker
going
room.
way
He
back.
had his team in the locker room before the game, and he says, and Oklahoma State had a 2-time All-American by the name of Thurman Thomas. He said, whatever you do, don't hurt Thurman Thomas. And the players is like, what are you talking about? He's the best in the country. Because you don't want to see his backup, Barry Sanders. And I'm telling everybody in the NFL, coaches, don't hurt Highsmith, because if Nick Herbert gets in the game, Highsmith's career is done. I got Herbert already in the top 5 outside linebackers in all of football. Al Levine, the talking machine. Wouldn't Jordan Addison look good on the team right now? this is the first time that I can remember, and I had season tickets since I was 4, that
What year was that?
that a team that did not make the playoffs last year got every single rookie on the bench. There ain't one rookie starter. I told y'all that Dan Moore was the best left tackle in all of football. Broderick Jones, they moved up to get him. He's on the bench. I told you I would trade Joey Porter Jr. Soon as he gave the ball to his daddy in preseason, how they got rid of him and his daddy. Now they bringing in every Salvation Army cornerback they can find because Joey Porter ain't ready. He's a grabber. I had him as a free safety in my draft report. They got Benton, who was a 4-time high school wrestling champion, a second-round pick. This guy can play in the WWE, but he can't play in the NFL. Al Levine, the talking machine. Other than Washington and Nick Herbert, this would be a bust of the draft. I rated it a D, and I think you guys will back me up 4 years from now. And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Smoking. All right.
Jordan Addison would look good on this team right now.
Hey, I'm drinking the Steeler Kool-Aid. We'll get into that. Go Steelers.
All
they don't
rookies
need
are
'em.
on the bench.
They don't need them. I don't care what
2
you're saying.
first-round draft choice rookies on the bench.
I'll give my prediction
Where
on
they
the
belong.
I'll give my prediction on the Steelers.
When
Do you
they're
wanna
ready,
give,
they'll play.
Smoking Jim, do you want to give a prediction on the Steelers record?
8-8-1.
Okay. They don't want to be great.
They just want to be 8-8-1.
I want to see if you can say it. All right, let's go to Chip Hayner's trivia time. 10 seconds. He doesn't understand math. He didn't go to KO.
All right, everybody. And I just decided that I'm going to make this one short and sweet. And I'm going to give you statistics for 2 Pirate greats who were, one was at one point for about a 5-year period, without a question of a doubt, the best player in Major League Baseball. Hands down. No questions asked.
Dave Parker.
The other one handled a couple of different positions, and he was a center fielder and a first baseman. He played on the 1971 World Series team. And, everybody wants to take the first one and say that he's more of a candidate for the Hall of Fame than the other. But I think when you look at both their statistics for their careers, you could see that I don't understand why Al Oliver is not in the Hall of Fame. I do understand why Dave Parker's not in the Hall of Fame, and I'll just give you a quick rundown of their statistics in a nutshell, and I'm not going to go through 25 of them.
Okay.
Dave Parker, 2,712 hits, 1,493 RBIs, had 339 home runs, a career batting average of 290. All pretty good statistics for a 5-year period with the Pirates.
I was
Won
gonna
the
bring it up,
National League
yeah.
MVP in 78, won a batting title, I believe in 77 and 78.
Yeah.
Was on the 79 World Series team. And
First $1 million ball
then
player.
he was responsible for one of the biggest black eyes in Pittsburgh sports history, being involved in the drug trials and being a centerpiece in those trials in the early 80s, which almost forced the Pirates to have to move the team. And I believe that is the reason why he has not been selected into the Hall of Fame.
Good point.
Al Oliver, on the other hand, played most of his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates, finished his career with 2,743 hits,
Whoa.
1,326 RBIs. He only hit 219 home runs, but he had a career batting average after spending 18 years in the majors of 303.
That's good.
That's good. So, Al Oliver never was involved in the drug trials. All he did was bat 300 every single year of his
could hit.
career.
He could
and,
hit.
and he that carried into the 80s. But, I think, unfortunately, Dave Parker will posthumously be elected into the Hall of Fame. I know he's not doing well. He's got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
If you've seen him lately, and then you see the guy that we saw roaming right field at Three Rivers Stadium. It's a little bit on the disturbing side to see
Oh, it is.
the
when I've seen
the
him
shape
lately.
in it
Yeah.
that he's in right now. But Al Oliver, one night, what was that, 11 or 12 years ago, Alan and I interviewed him on Pittsburgh Sportsline on
Yeah.
the phone.
Yeah.
And, I asked Alan if I could ask him a couple of questions. And
Yeah.
the very first question I got, I asked him what his opinion was of Danny Murtaugh's managerial abilities. And, man, he went on for about 5 minutes. And,
Yeah.
And that is another Pirate great that's not in the Hall of Fame that should
Murtaugh's
be.
not?
Danny Murtaugh is not. He got denied about a year or so ago
Yeah, he did.
by the seniors committee, and I don't know how that happens. The guy he checked all the boxes.
Right.
2 World Series championships, 1960, 1971.
Right.
Hey,
But,
Nick, is Al Oliver the one we know?
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I forget. All those baseball players look alike to me.
Even the black ones.
Chip.
He was left-handed.
Okay. Was Al Oliver ever involved in MVP? No.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
Smoking Jim, we
That's
like to,
kind of important.
Yeah,
we,
but
we
Al,
like to ask.
yeah, but Al
what are-
Oliver
what
didn't
are you
snort the
even
right field
thinking?
line.
What are you even thinking?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just
Sorry, he leans towards the negative side.
asking.
I don't want to say the dark side. Like in Star Wars, there's the light side and the dark side. So it's not a racist type comment. It's
I
a
mean,
movie.
if you win MVP and you win a couple batting titles, that's a little bit different. A
Yeah,
little bit different.
look at the shame he brought to Major League Baseball.
He bought
All right.
Sister Sledge. He bought Sister Sledge to town.
There's been so much shame
All right,
brought to
let-
Major League Baseball.
Let's move
For
on
the
from that.
year.
We don't even want to talk about Clear and Barry Bonds, but that's another story. Paul Haley watched Clemson lose last night and dropped to 25th in the polls. We forgot to mention Colorado's now 22nd in the poll.
All right, my favorite number. See, I'm
Clemson-
wearing it. That's why I'm wearing it.
Clement, yeah, but you don't like Kutch. Clemson was overrated and shouldn't even be in the top 25, only 7 points in the game. Thomas Hempfield, Notre Dame is the best. As the fight song goes, they will win overall. Rui Pinto's watching. George Gallis is watching. Paul Haley loved the Cobra. So did I.
Yeah.
First $1 million ball player, and they
sir.
threw batteries at him. So imagine that. All right. We're going to go to VIP time right now. 10 seconds. We got 10 minutes to go.
A team didn't take a knee this weekend, and a lot of things got hot. Penn State was up 31-15, right? We know that. Everybody knows the story, right? And now
Oh, my
everybody's
daughter
outraged.
went there, so I'm prejudiced. Whatever they did was right.
Well, Penn State scored on WVU when they were up by a lot of touchdowns, and we've had conversations about this before, about baseball in particular as well, hitting grand slams in a 3-0 count in the
Stealing
seventh inning
bases.
of a lopsided game, stealing third base or any base when you're in a lopsided game. What's the point? Is it important to do? Should we be upset about teams doing this? Couple of opinions about that. First of all, football's a little bit different than baseball, I would say. So you're running on a clock in football as opposed to achieving outs in baseball. The game progresses based on the outs you get in baseball, so teams can come back at any point in time. Football, there's 6 seconds left in this particular example. If you take a knee, you don't have to waste the time of doing things that are required when you score, which is getting an extra point perhaps, or attempting an extra point and then performing a kickoff. So in this regard, I wouldn't have done it. I'm not necessarily upset that they did, though, but I wouldn't have done it because, again, you're just wasting time. You're just exerting energy against another team that you don't necessarily have to. Now, there's also the argument that the second and third string players get their reps, which it's like, okay, whatever. They're playing in a lopsided game. How
You
valuable
gave
are
up
those
on the
repetitions?
game.
So, yeah, I mean, there's that. Exactly. Now, did Penn State do anything wrong by scoring? No, they didn't. They scored a touchdown in a game. No matter how much time is left, okay, they scored. It's not that big a deal. Some WVU fans I've heard are upset. Neil Brown says what goes around comes around. That's great. Who cares?
How long's he going to be there?
Yeah, he's exactly that too.
His expiration date's coming.
So I have no problem with Penn State scoring. I just think that in those cases of football, it's a waste of time, especially when you have that little time on the clock. But again, it really just doesn't matter. And the fact that this is a controversial point is really, I think, it's really silly. There are theories too. I did forget about this. The money line.
Yes.
Was
there
it?
you
Yeah.
go.
Was it
Yes.
on James?
That's
Franklin?
what I was
Yes.
going to bring up.
Was it James Franklin's? Was it on James?
He wanted to
Franklin's
cover
line?
his bet.
No.
He took the points.
So
He had $1 million on FanDuel.
20 and a half.
He had $1 million. So with him doing that, he won his money.
So in the scheme, in the grand scheme
I got
of
another
scoring late in a lopsided game like that, again, I really don't think it matters. When you bring up this, I guess you can theorize.
I'll go into
Does
that.
was the money line in his conscience? We may never know.
Only his bookie knows.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, first off, I'm a little jaded with Penn State. My daughter graduated 2010, 3 degrees from Penn State. She was unlike Smoking Jim. He has 18 degrees and basket weaving and
He got
everything else.
more degrees than a thermometer.
Yeah. And he didn't see many days in the classroom. But she graduated there. I only saw one game in, her last year in 2010, and I wish I would have seen more. But I was there with 100,000 people, and they were playing Eastern Michigan.
Wow.
And,
Incredible.
I just the energy there. So I watched the game, because I watch it. I root for Pitt, Penn State, whatever. So 107,000 people with a whiteout because they're right. And I'm thinking, not even looking at the line, but I knew that was coming up. And I've believed in the last 30 years of my life that all sports is fixed. Because how do bookies know to give a 2.5 point thing, 17.5, 21 point, betting line? And what happens? FanDuel kicks in. 6 seconds ago, you got 107,000 people. Forget the gambling. For entertainment with the team, I would have done it, and I believe the unwritten rule, you shouldn't, but I would have done it just for those kids. They're only there 4 years. Can you imagine what they take the rest of their life seeing that happen? And then if they bet on the teams like it, they go, he made me cover on the bet. And this is America today. It's about the gambling, and we don't want the players to gamble. So they're gambling on tennis and other sports
You're
and
right.
women's
I've
soccer.
seen you at the casino before.
Well, yeah, and I was betting on you, and I won my bet. It was 100-1 bet that he would go to the bookmaker right to the window within a minute of seeing me, even though he was shocked that he saw me because he didn't know I was there. He forgot I told him I'd be there. So I won 100-1. And we're running out of time. We got about 4 minutes left, so I'll keep mine short. Chief goes Tony Macaroni. Mohammed Bashka is watching, and I hope all the rest of you are still watching. We got to go to my segment On Location. It'll be brief because I don't have much to say on that. But gambling at sports, we can go all night. 10 seconds. We good? All right. On Location, we're still waiting for Monsville Prison. A couple years ago, we had a Monsville Prison fight in August, but we didn't have one this year. So we're waiting to see before the end of the year if we have a fight at Monsville Prison. We've been told that Jim Frio and Mike Murray will be letting us know. And anything else, wanted to shout out that Colleen Chaos Davis, Ray Schaefer Boxing Association, she's going to be fighting on the 16th in Murraysville at that Sports Zone. So if you can go out to the fights, I'll promote anybody. We appreciate the people putting on the fights and stuff out there. unless we get a media pass, we can't afford to go to all these events. We're invited to, there's 10, 15 every weekend and stuff. I need a loan, and I don't know Tony Macaroni on that, so we're not going to do it. But, you know, we're just having fun, just trying to put it out there. And when we're talking about opinions, it's fine. But when I'm talking about facts with Neon Dion primetime not tackling, what was he known for? Not tackling. That's true. So we can talk about that. And gambling in sports, I believe it's run rampant over the years. Baseball players had a history of going to tracks and betting on horses, but they didn't bet on baseball. Now, here's what you can do.
Right.
Do everything right there.
That's right.
How do you monitor all of that?
Good point.
And then look at these hackers come up with fake names. How many accounts could you have?
Yeah.
2, 3 different places. Look at Smokin' Jim doesn't even use his government name. We're not even sure of what it is. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be out there that there's no truth behind it. And it is my opinion and not the journalistic part and the accuracy. But just follow the money. We've all been told that. And you see who's doing what. And with corruption in sports, let alone government and everything else, it doesn't surprise me that you have these things happening at the end of a game. Nick's giving me the point. We're down. I'm showing 7:58.
We got to be up by 59.
I thought I had, yeah.
Yep, look at that.
I know. We're getting ready. It is now Stay Joey Strong.
Oh, no.
This is deep, and he did it again! Zielinski wins it for the Pirates!
Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV.